everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Yarn and Ewe Girl podcast. I'm Janine, your host, also known as Yarn and Ewe Girl, and this is my podcast where I talk about all the crafty things I'm doing. And today is April 9th. I have no idea what episode it is. I think it's like episode 49, maybe? See, I don't prepare very well for these. I didn't look at what the last episode was. I'm pretty sure it's 49. So anyway, we're just going to go with that. And if it's not, then I'll figure it out. Today, like I said, it's April 9th, and it is first day back for my kids from spring break. We had our spring break last week, so we didn't do anything super exciting. The kids, they did, spend the night with Uncle and play all the video games. I worked a little bit more than I normally do, which kind of sucked, but that's okay. And this last weekend, though, I was in Seattle with my husband. We went for a pharmacy continuing education, which was all day Sunday. And if you follow me on Instagram, you probably saw me post my classroom photo and my knitting, because I can't sit still in a classroom for 8+ hours and not have something to do. However, I think I overdid it because my hands were quite crampy at the end of the day. I ended up icing them when we got home. But anyway, so we went down Saturday morning, kind of midday, and we stopped at this restaurant in Puyallup that we love. It's called Tibbetts at Fern Hill, and the owner, his name is Sean, and it's this little small teeny restaurant, but he does the most amazing food. On the weekends he does just breakfast, so we just did a breakfast that was like at 1 o'clock. And but it's so good. So if you are in the area there, you should definitely go check him out. Reservations are usually a good idea because he only has maybe 9 tables. And it's, like I said, it's just a small little kitchen, and he makes everything fresh. He buys all his ingredients that morning, and locally sourced kind of stuff. It's very, very good. So we make sure to stop there anytime we're up in the Tacoma, Puyallup area. I think it's actually the address is Tacoma, but it's literally right off of I-5. And when I went for the Holiday Food and Gift Festival in Tacoma, we would go. And when I went for the Puyallup Quilt, Craft, and Sewing Festival and the Sew Expo, we would go. So it's really piece of cake for any of those locations. Not very far at all. So if you are in that area, you should check that restaurant out because it is very, very good. So we made sure to stop there on the way down. And then we checked into our hotel room. We're right by University of Washington because that's where the continuing education course was. And we went out to this place called Duke's Chowder House for dinner, which was really good seafood. The crab cake and the clam chowder were amazing. And then we decided that we kind of walked around the pier. It was rainy, but it's right on Lake Union there. And we walked around the pier and went into this place, which was like the center for wooden boats, and we just checked out the wooden boats, and there were all these handmade, beautiful wooden boats, and then historic wooden boats, and it was very, very fun to kind of see all that stuff. And lots of people in there. I guess it was member day, and we practiced tying knots and learning sailor terms and things like that. And then we walked to the Space Needle. I grew up in Bothell, and I never, ever got to go into the Space Needle. I had always wanted to as a child. I remember bugging my parents to take us, and they wouldn't take us. I remember when I was young, it didn't cost, it might have been free, or it might have been just like $1. It didn't really cost very much to go up in the elevator to the observation deck, but they still never took us. And I think that's part of what happens when you live in a city. You kind of take for granted the sights that are there and the things that people come all over the world to see. So I told Matt, I was like, we have to go up into the Space Needle because I've never been and I really, really, really want to go. Well, we walked over there and it's under construction right now, which is kind of a bummer because it didn't have complete views. They are redoing everything at the observation deck, and the restaurant up there at the top is closed. But we did get quite a few views, and you could actually go out onto the observation deck and see, you know, most of the city. There are a couple sides that were blocked off and everything, but it was very nice. The weather was crappy. It was raining the whole time and miserable, but I didn't care. I got to go up in the Space Needle. I was very, very excited. Oh, a little bit of a yawn there. Anyway, so that's what we did that night, and then we got up and spent all of Sunday yesterday at the continuing education, which, a little bit of a snooze. It was all about new drugs and new laws, but it was lots of hours that I needed, so, you know, and one day, not a big deal. And I had my knitting, so I was saved. But anyway, on to the knitting, because you guys want to hear about the knitting, and you don't really want to hear about my date weekend with my husband, even though I just pretty much gave it to you all in a nutshell. So, knitting. I actually have a couple things knitting related that I want to talk to you guys about first. And one of them is the release of my That 70's tee, which I'm so excited about. And thank you so much to everybody who's purchased a pattern already. I am so happy that it's gotten such a warm response. And I'm actually deciding to do a knit along for it. So starting now, even if you bought the pattern and you started last week, totally fine. I don't care. But starting now and going through, I think we're going to say like June 15th. So we'll give us a little bit, like 2.5 months, because it shouldn't really take that long to do the sweater. It is short sleeve. It's, you know, but we want to have it ready for summertime, because that's when we're going to want to wear all of our short sleeve stuff. So the That 70's tee, if you guys don't know, it's this sweater. It's just a basic raglan stockinette sweater with that little bit of interest in the striping on the sleeves and the contrast color. You need just a little bit of your contrast color for most of the pattern, or most of the sizes. It takes anywhere from 25 grams to 100 grams depending on your size. So you really could use some scrap yarn up with it if you wanted to. This is my nuclear colorway and my Hubba Bubba in the hot pink here. And I'm actually starting another one because I'm going to knit along with you guys too. So I'll show you that in my works in progress. The sizes for this go from size 30 chest all the way up to a size 58 chest. So it's got a nice wide range of sizes. And I did want to put out there, one of my test knitters sent me an email with like a wonderful picture of it. I've been trying to email her back, and I can't get a hold of her because it says her email address is full. So if you are, I don't want to say your name, but you'll know, you sent me this lovely thing. You said you weren't like a model, but that's okay. I thought you looked beautiful in the sweater, and the sweater you made was gorgeous, but I want to actually send you a copy of the real sweater. So if you want to get a hold of me on Ravelry, I am Yarn and Ewe Girl, and just say, hey, that might be the easiest place, because I've been trying to email you back and I don't know your Ravelry name. So that's, and I don't know if I sent it to your email address, if it would even get to you, because the email address that it came from keeps saying this email is full, and I keep getting this error message. So you know who you are. If you're watching this, please let me know. And so to kick off this knit along, I'm actually going to be doing a giveaway for 2 copies of the pattern. So I'll be pulling 2 people from the giveaway thread, and I'll be gifting a copy to each of you for this sweater so that you can do the knit along. So over on the Ravelry group, which is kind of quiet right now, but let's get it cracking and starting again, I'm going to have a question thread there for the sweater. And the question, I'm going to have to think about the question because I don't really know what it's going to be. But, oh, here we go. Let's just do, since I'm going to Hawaii this summer with the family, let's just put it out there. What is your favorite vacation place to go to and why? And so that's going to be your prompt. So answer the prompt, and then I will pull 2 winners from random number generator before the next episode. And you guys will win a copy of that 70's tee pattern. So that's going to kick off our knit along, which like I said, it's basically starting now. It's going through like June 15th if I need to extend it, if I feel like people haven't finished it or people are telling me they need more time, then we'll extend it. But if you've started already, don't worry, you're totally able to get involved in the knit along with us. So go over to the Ravelry group, which is the Yarn and Ewe Girl podcast group, and make sure to answer the prompt. Also over there will be a thread for the knit along, a chatter thread, and a finished objects thread. So if you're wondering about yarn choices, if you're wondering, you want to see other people's yarn choices, that's a good place to go. I know I have been Instagramming and talking a lot with some of the people who are knitting it and helping kind of decide like what will be the best contrast, but it's up to you. I've seen people do solid. We've had people do solid body, not speckle, and then like speckly stripes, or just solid and solid, so 2 different solids. I like the speckle, but that's just me. So if you're into something else, you can totally make it your own sweater as much as you want. So that's that 70's tee. And if you don't want to do the giveaway for the pattern, or you don't want to wait, the pattern is available now on Ravelry. Just search that 70's tee and you'll be able to find it. Also, I think there might be a link in my Instagram page, in my Instagram profile, which is Yarn and Ewe on Instagram. So anyway, that's a little bit of business there. I have a finished object. As you guys can tell, I am wearing it. It is my Zweig sweater. So this is Zweig by Caitlin Hunter. The main color here, the purple is Baah La Jolla base, which is 100% superwash merino. It is in the lavender colorway. And then this yoke area and the colorwork area is also Baah La Jolla in the Dragon's Tail colorway. Now the Baah is a little bit plumper than your traditional fingering weight yarn. So it is a little bit like heavier, but I really like the fabric of it. So I'm gonna stand up here and kind of show you. I'm gonna move the computer, so sorry. But then I can show you kind of what's going on. At least the bottom part of it, so. La la la. Okay, so my Zweig, I did the cable portion just on the body, not on the arms. I was kind of getting tired of the cabling. And so I just did the arms. It's plain stockinette. Last time you guys saw me, it was just, I was just finishing it. I just finished the body and I'd started on the arms. Now I had finished the body and I'd made it a little longer than the pattern called for. And then the pattern called for doing the bottom rib in the same needle as the main part of the sweater. I finished both the arms and I wore it for a day, and it was too long for me, and it was loosey-goosey on the hem, and I really did not like it. So I decided I was going to rip back to one repeat of the cable, and then just start the inch hem from there and do the hem in the actual US size 3 needle that the other ribbing like on the arm and stuff was done. And I really think that that came out a lot better. It's perfect length now, and it has just the right amount of kind of tightness on the body on the bottom without like being so like, it was just like ripply, you know, before because it was too loose, and then it was too long and it felt too big for my body. So I just ripped it out. It took me a couple days to decide whether I wanted to do that, and I don't like ripping out. I stress out a little bit about trying to get the stitches back on the needles properly. So what I did, I kind of took some of my skills that I learned from Afterthought Heels, and I took waste yarn, and I went, started at the back where the start of the round is, and I inserted my needle into the right leg of each stitch in that row, and I pulled waste yarn through to kind of give myself a lifeline, like an after lifeline. And then I undid it and ripped out to the lifeline, and I was able to put the stitches back on the needles, and that worked out really, really well. It didn't stress me out nearly as much. On one of the, part of the row, I actually grabbed the stitches on the row above, so that was a little annoying, and I had to kind of fiddle with getting the stitches on the needle for part of it and then undoing those two because they were caught. And anyway, but I ended up being able to do it, and I was very happy that I finished it. So that was kind of what I worked on quite a bit this last week. I'm not sure for my body that the yoke construction is the right type of sweater construction for me. I feel like it kind of either my chest is too big and it comes up like this. I don't know, and I'm constantly adjusting it over my boobs to make sure that it's laying right and it's not one's down here and one's anyway. So it's a little fiddly for my body type, I think, but I really like the sweater. I'm happy with the way that it turned out, and I will definitely be wearing it a lot. It's very warm and very pretty. And I don't think, looking at it, people would think that it was a hand knit sweater. I think most people would think that I bought it at the store, which is I think that's the goal for me, is to have a sweater that looks so good that people don't say, unless you're a knitter and you know, people don't say, did you make that? They just are like, where did you get that? You know? And then I can say, I made it, and feel a little proud of myself and a little smug at the same time. So anyway, that is my Zweig by Caitlin Hunter. I also don't know if I am a super big fan of the short row collar. She does a short row increases for the yoke in the back here. I still am having a hard time with those, so I had to watch some YouTube videos to make sure that I ended up with holes the first time, and it didn't work out as well, so I ended up ripping out that first bit and doing it again. So it's not my favorite construction for the collar area, but whatever. I think raglans are my favorite just because I feel like they're pretty easy to do. I also don't mind the drop shoulder stuff. That's not so bad either. But for some reason, I think you do the short rows for the collar. It's not my favorite, but whatever. Anyway, so that is my only finished object. I also I have a couple works in progress. I am still working on my Hermione's Everyday Socks, but I've actually put them on the back burner a little bit. Surprise, surprise. I'm not into socks right now. I can't quite get my interest kicked in, but I'm saving them for this weekend because I'll be at the Puyallup, or I want to say Puyallup Quilt Craft and Sewing Festival, but it's the Quilt Craft and Sewing Festival, but it's in Portland, not Puyallup. And I'm saving them for that because I will need some kind of basic knitting to have on hand that I can work on. I've passed the heel already, so it'll just be foot work, and then that's what I'm going to be working on during the show, and that should be okay. My other two works in progress are brand new cast-ons that you guys may have seen a little bit on one of them on Instagram. The other one, though, you probably haven't seen at all, except for maybe my yarn choices, because I am doing another That 70's tee But this time I'm doing it in some sparkly yarn, which I'm very excited about too. Also, because I did just get this yarn in my shop. So I now carry O Loops in my shop, and I'm very, very excited about it. I love her yarn so much. Her colors are very fun, and she does just a beautiful job. So I decided that, so I'm carrying her Fashion Knot, which is her sparkle base, and I'm carrying her Siberian Sock, which is a merino, cashmere, and silk base. It's like butter. It has like the most beautiful drape. I really wanted to do my sweater out of that, but I was worried that the drape would be too much for the sweater. So I decided to do my sweater in her Fashion Knot instead, because who doesn't love a sparkly sweater? I do. I love a sparkly sweater. So I have my sleeve caps done already. So I'm doing it in this light blue, which is the Spring Sky, as the contrast. Excuse me. Let me get some water. I just got like froggy in my throat. Okay, Spring Sky, which is the blue, and then the white, or the speckle one, is Through the Trapdoor. So I have both of my sleeve caps done, and I've actually blocked them out. So they're ready, will be ready to seam as soon as the body is done, or as soon as the body is started. I like to seam my sleeves, and I recommend this in the pattern too. Once I get the body, like the back done and the front done, because you do part of it in pieces and then you do have to seam the arms on. I seam the arms on after I've done just a few rounds, once I've done the underarm area. So then I seam the arms on, so that way when I try it on, I can actually try it on and see where it sits on my body and how long I need to actually knit it. So I've got both my sleeve caps, and they're blocked and ready to go. I am making the size 34 again, which I think turned out really great on the other one. And this is, excuse me, I still have that frog. So this is Spring Sky and Through the Trapdoor. So let me show you them in their respective cakes. So Through the Trapdoor, it's a gold stellina base, 75, oh, did I bring down the tag? Hold on. 75 superwash merino, 20 nylon, and 5 gold stellina. And so this is the Through the Trapdoor in the hank. It's just, it's gorgeous. And then this is the Spring Sky. And this is like it's a solid, but it has little bits sometimes of green popped in there. Just a little bit. Occasionally you'll get these tonal bits. Very, very exciting. I thought that these went really well together, and it would make a really nice, light, softer colored version of my That 70's sweater, since my other one is very like, yeah, bright pink sleeves, and you know, so this is going to be a little bit softer version of it. So I'm very excited about that. I did not bring it with me this weekend to the convention because I had finished the sleeves and I didn't want to get too far ahead of everybody else who's just going to be starting, and because you guys didn't really know I was doing a knit along, so I didn't want to get too far ahead of you all. So now I can start kind of working on the rest of it since we've talked and I've told you we're doing a knit along. So anyway, that's that. I'm very, very excited about it, as I've said multiple times. The other thing I've been spending a lot of my time working on is the Baubles shawl by Andrea Mowry. I saw this shawl and I thought it was gorgeous. I wanted to have it in the colors that she did it in, and I was waiting on my yarn. I think I told you guys that I had bought the pattern and that was like in the horizon. So I was waiting on the yarn. I bought the yarn from Magpie Fibers. It's the Solo Fingering, and it's the color Paris Train. Paris Train? Yeah. That's the, I guess you would call it the main color. And then you have two contrast colors, and Tupelo Honey. And this one, I can't remember what this one's called. Let's see. Oh, Masquerade. So Tupelo Honey and Masquerade. And it is a combination of some stripes and lace and brioche, and it is beautiful. This is what I was working on yesterday at the knitting, or sorry, it's not a knitting convention, at the pharmacy convention. I got it kind of tangled here, so let me get it out. I was hoping, I was going to weave in my ends yesterday because they're kind of snagging, because I don't know, it's single ply, which if you guys have worked with single ply, it is very catchy. It tends to grab onto itself, even though it's a superwash. It grabs itself pretty easily, and so my ends keep getting in the way. So this is the start over here. You start in this corner. You have these stripes. You have a little bit of brioche. You have this lace section, and then you have another big set of stripes with the blue or the other contrast color. So I am almost done with this stripe section. This is what I was working on mostly all yesterday. I was cramping up a bit, and so I was changing up my technique. So some of my rows aren't as neat because my gauge was a little off, but I figure when it blocks, it'll be fine. I have a couple more rows to do of the stripes, and then you start a brioche section again. And the final section, or after the brioche, it'll be like another lace section, it looked like. And then the final brioche section goes back to this mustard color. And it is this lovely lacy brioche with baubles. It looks amazing. It's fantastic. I have no idea how she figured that pattern out, but it's gorgeous, and I had to have it all over. So very excited about this one. I think it will be really good, but it's starting to go slow. I'm starting to get to the drag. These rows are taking a really long time. There's about, 200 stitches at this point. And I think yesterday I was about here. And so I really only got like this much done in 8 hours, which seems like not a lot at all, but whatever. It is what it is. I admit I don't knit fast, so it's totally fine. So that is what I've been kind of really working on, and what I've mostly been doing. I want to get this done. I've been trying to be better, you guys, and be a little bit more monogamous about what I'm working on, so I'm not generally showing you guys as much new cast-ons, which I'm sorry about that, but I am trying to be more diligent about what I'm actually knitting and to finish things instead of starting things. I have a lot of projects upstairs, as do we all, that get started, I get excited about, and then I don't go anywhere with it. So I'm really wanting to, if I start something, to try to finish it. Now, that doesn't always work. There are quite a few projects upstairs, and I'm hoping that I'll get to them. But I did decide that one of the blankets that I'm working on is going to be ripped out. It is the Walt chevron blanket. I bought a bunch of knit picks, swish worsted for it. And I decided that I'm going to try, since I have all this swish worsted, there is a crochet blanket that I'm going to attempt to do. I really want a blanket, but I really don't want to do the work on it. So I'm going to try this other one because it's a granny square, and it's a pretty large, you only make 12 squares. So it's called Charlotte's Dream, or I'll have to look it up and post it because I was just checking it out. Hang on. I was just checking it out on Ravelry. Let's see. Sorry, you guys. I hope you don't mind. I'm going to look it up here so that I can tell you what it really is. Charlotte's Dream Blanket by Deidre Use. I don't know if that's how to say her last name. She does a blog called Look at What I Made, and it's this really beautiful granny square. Oh, that's not going to work at all, is it? Granny square blanket. Can you guys kind of see that? So you make 12 of these big granny squares. Anyway, she does hers in 12 different colors with the same border. I just have 4 colors. I think I'm going to try to like mix up the colors and hopefully be able to use all that swish worsted yarn that I have. So today my plan is to go out and get the right crochet hook because I had one and I can't find it because I haven't crocheted in a really long time. And I will be trying to do that because I'm also hoping that a little bit of change, again, just something different with my hands, will give my hands a little bit of a break. I have not picked up my cross stitch since I showed it to you last, probably because I was trying frantically to finish this sweater. Because of the show, I carry the yarn in the shop. I wanted to have this sweater as a piece that I could wear or one that was on display. And then I wanted to, start this Baubles has been like really keeping me interested. So, but I do want to try to do something different. So I thought maybe I'd crochet a little bit and see how that worked with my hands. But I do need to go get a new crochet hook, so that's the plan. I'm thinking maybe H hook or something for that, for the worsted. I'm not sure. The pattern is a sport weight, but I'm just going to go with what I have and use worsted and see what happens. So that's all I have for works in progress. I still have plans to cast on the shui shrug, or however shui shrug, which I did purchase my yarn for, so I will show you guys that stuff. I have been, I've got a couple yarn acquisitions this time. So obviously you guys saw my Magpie Fibers yarn that I bought for the Baubles. I did not have that last time, and so that is something I've been working on. And obviously you saw the O-loops that I bought because I just got them and I did not have that last time, and my bag wants to keep falling over. Okay, so the other thing that I bought, no, I didn't buy this actually. So those are my purchases. I did the Get Your Yarn Wish Granted, and this last November, I think it was October or November, and one of the people who said they were going to grant me a wish just recently sent me my stuff, so I'm very excited. She was really apologetic about how long it took, but I am so excited because I have some cool plans for this. So this is Mad Science yarn, and she's, I think, up in Seattle, and she sent me 3 fingering weight skeins of yarn. And they're all like tonal, and they're like so pretty. So this plum, dark plum, is called GMO Berries. And they're 80% superwash merino, 20 nylon, and you get 400 yards in 100 grams. And a super nice feel to them. That's her test tube fingering. This blue one is Electromagnetic, and it's coming out blue, but it's really like a teal, so it's more of a green. And then this like rusty peachy one is fall 2017, and also on her test tube soft fingering. So I was thinking of making a sweater out of these three, like a striped sweater. And I've got kind of some design plans in the works for it. So stay tuned for that. But that won't be happening for a while. But I feel like these colors went, like they look kind of, they don't look true to color on the screen. They're much more in the same, like this one really doesn't look like this. It looks more green. And so they go really well together in person, I think. And I'm going to be doing like a raglan style sweater with maybe some texture into the stripes. I don't know. But I was very excited to get that from her. So thank you so much. Because that was it's kind of nice. It's kind of neat to get those yarn wishes granted. So if you haven't done that before, it's usually right around Christmas time. It's on Instagram, and you just throw out a wish, and somebody grants it. And then, oh, sorry, you guys, I don't know if you can hear that, but my cat is like, she has asthma, and she's like coughing like crazy over there. You throw out a wish, and you somebody grants it, and then you can grant people wishes too. Like I granted a couple wishes and sent some stuff out, and it just was really nice. There was no everybody's just like doing stuff for everyone, and it felt really great. So that was super awesome to get that. I did buy some prizes for the knit along for the That 70's tee, and when I was in the Space Needle, I saw these Notion bags or makeup bags or whatever, but I thought you could use them as Notion bags, and I just thought they were so cool. So they're canvas and they're little zipper bags. So I think I'm going to keep one of them, but this is the one that I'm going to be adding to the gift. And it's just these like seagulls, I guess, but I loved it. I thought it was so cool, and it's a zipper pouch. It'd be perfect for like crochet hooks or stitch markers or tape measure, a little pair of scissors, and they're like that duck canvas almost, or that waxed canvas. I just thought it was so cute. So one of you guys is going to be getting this. I have some mini skeins that I dyed up. I'm putting together a little 3-pack of minis, and there will be some other yarn that I will put together with the prizes too. So there might be more than one prize, but this is part of it. So this is the one that will go in the prize bin. And then I also got for myself, because I liked this one a lot, but I wasn't sure everybody would like this one because it's very much I don't know, it's just unique. So it's this one, and I thought this was so cool. So because, you know, they're all about the fishing down there. And again, it's just like this canvas, wax canvas kind of thing. I actually might use this one as a makeup bag, but look at the bottom. This is so cool. The bottom says Wild Pacific Salmon, and it gives you the calorie count and the vitamin content. And I just thought that it was a really cool bag all around. So I found those at the little gift shop at the Space Needle. So somebody's going to be getting this one as a prize. So, and I'm going to be like I said, I'm going to be putting together other prizes and things like that. So if you are a maker and you want me to promote your shop, and I'd be happy to give away some prizes for you, just contact me here on YouTube or on Ravelry, which is Yarn and Ewe Girl, if I didn't say that already, or Instagram, which is Yarn and Ewe. And that's pretty much it for today, you guys. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you like the channel, subscribe to it, like the video, and go over to the Ravelry group and enter in to win your own copy of the That 70's tee and get started knitting it so you can win one of these other prizes. Thanks a lot, you guys. See you later. Okay, so I just realized I said goodbye to you all, and I didn't even show you the yarn I'm going to use for my shui, or whatever you call it, shrug. So, real quick, I wanted to show you guys that because I said I was going to show it to you, and then I didn't. So, it is some yarn that I dyed up myself, and hopefully there will be some of this in the shop after the update, or sorry, after the Quilt Craft and Sewing Festival this weekend. Anything that doesn't sell there, I'm going to be updating in the shop, and then I will be dyeing more yarn for that. So I wanted to come up with a similar colorway to the one that is posted in the pattern. So I wanted to get that color yarn, but I couldn't get a hold of it. So I tried to dye up something that I thought worked out for it similarly. So the main color is this. It's like a mint green with like reds and yellows and blacks, oranges kind of in there. And this one I'm calling Koi Pond. And so I have a couple of those. And then the contrast color is this minty, another minty green one, but a little bit darker than the base of the other one, and this is Mintastic. And these are both on my alternative sock, which is a 75-25. And yeah, so hopefully I will have more of this, and I will have, so they go together. They're pretty subtle, the change, which is what I liked about the shrug, is I liked how her colors were almost made you feel like you were doing a one color brioche, but you weren't. So I wanted to have something similar. And then she did like this bright orange pop of color around the bottom. So I think I'm going to be doing that around the bottom as well. So yeah, I'm a total copycat, but that's okay. I don't know. I mean, it's not the same, obviously, because I have no idea what those, I just kind of went off of the picture of the pattern. So I tried to come up with something that I thought worked out similarly. So that is what I'm going to be doing my shui. I don't even know, you guys. I keep saying it wrong. Shrug out of. So anyway, now for reals, goodbye.